If you want to support the channel, send me a beanie or a pair of warm socks for the homeless this winter when I will be passing them out. Oh, and I've been kind of a dick to Doug TenNapel lately. I want to say that Bigfoot Bill was awesome. I was very shocked that this freaking giant with filthy hands had such skill. Click the links to get a hold of me or send me comics that you want me to read, review, or edit. So the Woofloo is turning out, it's just not as bad as it was predicted to be. So I'm going to suspect that comic book stores are going to get back to business. And even if stores open up in a week, which they probably will, I think you're going to see more pros looking at the comicsgate model and emulate it. Some will join comicsgate, but most are just going to start their own network on YouTube, DLive, and BitChute. But the SJWs are going to run into a real problem. They aren't very entertaining. On YouTube, YouTube's Marvel channel, Joe Quesada does a live stream every few days. Drink and Draw also does a live stream. They both talk about comics and are interesting for about 5 minutes because they can never be honest and express how they feel about anything, not even off-the-cuff stuff. If someone brought up Disney Wars, one of the guys would say something like, "Oh, The Last Jedi, what a mess of a film. The plot was full of holes, the actors sucked. How did Rey learn how to do all those things without training?" Everyone else on the show would freeze up in terror. They have visions of themselves getting canceled on Twitter for hating a crappy movie because the left wing has decided that only wreckers of progress hate Disney Wars. No wrong think, comrade. So Drink and Draw or Marvel's live streams have been nerfed. But beyond nerf, it's a whole nerf room with everybody covered in shock-absorbing material. Most stuff on YouTube is nerfed because if you get too real, you just get kicked off the platform, which is beyond... so many words I can't say that I have to substitute words, and pretty soon they're going to say I can't say lame anymore. I'll say it's beyond gay. Nothing can hurt them in their safe space. If you want real, you got to go to DLive or BitChute. What happens when you invite someone on to talk about their project is you put the Indiegogo on in the background and you talk about whatever is going on in pop culture or politics. When in doubt, you can always laugh at SJWs because they're always outdoing themselves in terms of fake outrage. Read the Mary Sue or Kotaku for examples. Or follow Alyssa Milano and Trump's Twitter if you want to see pure artistic bundles of stickery. YouTube is about entertaining, informing, or being a hot chick. Thank God that I am all three. Talking about the specific project that they are selling is maybe 5 minutes of the 3-hour show. But when you do talk about it, you better be one enthusiastic MFer. Pretend somebody has a Liberty device to your head, and your enthusiasm is all that stands between you and eternity. That sweet, sweet release of death. Corona-chan, you were such a disappointment. Joe Quesada, Gail, Simone, Dan Slott, Al Ewing are as entertaining as a yeast infection. Go listen to Gail's YouTube channel. It's Wine Aunt mixed with Crazy Cat Lady. You won't be able to listen for more than 5 minutes. She has a writing class on Twitter. Why would you want to learn a skill from someone who doesn't have that skill? But by all means, please teach SJWs how to write stories that nobody will read. Because Squirrel Girl, Riri, Carl Manvers, Lady Thor, Lady Hulk, Lady Deadpool, I forgot the name. What was it called? Gwen something? Gwenpool? No, Gwen. Damn it, it's skipped my mind. Shuri, a.k.a. Lady Black Panther, because they've sold so well. Notice I didn't say that they were good or bad stories, because that is irrelevant at first. The bottom line is sales. You can't even develop interesting storylines if people don't pay your bills. Yes, comics is about money. The Twitter SJWs who think crowdfunding shouldn't raise too much money are not, that's just insane. But they don't understand that the more money that comes in, the more people that can read your stories. They always show a pie chart that explains the breakdown of where the money goes, as if to prove that they aren't too capitalist. I would have a pie chart that had a quarter of it going to coke and hookers, but I'd probably get kicked off the platform. The point of the profit is to let you live and eat so that you can work on the next project. Oh, you shouldn't be buying a home with the... Why not? It's better to buy a home than it is to rent a home. He has to live somewhere. Why shouldn't you buy a home? with the profits. None of these people make any sense to me. If you have to do a day job to support yourself, then you're not doing as many projects as fast. Comics is the day job, or it could be if you stopped writing SJW propaganda. Comics SJWs have to crowdfund their weddings. They beg for donations for their weed habit. Why not just sell more comics? Why is begging better than giving people a fun comic? So while you may see the far-left comic people start YouTube in an effort to crowdfund their comics, they're going to find that it is a challenge. It's harder than it looks. And they are going to be constantly deleting comments and blocking people who flame them. I don't delete comments or block people. I pin their comments. It's YouTube. I don't take it too seriously. Though I will admit some of the comments occasionally there's some deep cuts in there that just kind of read them and go, oh, time to rethink my life. I do read the comments and I think about them. I say stupid things, but that's the difference between us and SJWs. They are so scared of saying stupid things that they wait for a consensus from their comrades so they're safe. And here's the thing, we say stupid things, and the difference between the left and right is that the right doesn't hold grudges as often. We're more quick to forgive, forget, and move on. Or at least we should be. We say screw it and we put our ideas out in the open marketplace where they get challenged or, ripped to shreds. That's the comment section. It's the devil's advocate. And thank God I have plenty of devil's advocates in the comments. Man of action. I guess the SJW's next option is, and to be fair, there's more than him. He's just the most, he really tells people how he feels, which is very interesting. So his comments, I pin his comments all the time because he swears, and if I don't pin them, YouTube will hide them, so I have to pin them, otherwise they're just getting hidden. And they're funny. I mean, he's very honest, which is good. So I guess the SJW's next option is to worm their way into comicsgate. Oh, and I saw the Spawn thing on Kickstarter. Remember Kickstarter? They told Richard Meyer and Mike Miller to GTFO. Remember how Kickstarter was anti-comicsgate and that we were never going to go over to Kickstarter? That sounds like a fundamental principle or dogma. And really, there's just guys on YouTube. I have a channel. I don't watch that much of it. Shitty Webcomics, SWC, and those guys like that and the Comic Book Hut, they're useful because they hold people's feet to the fire. And really, SWC or the Hut should cover this kind of topic of the whole Kickstarter Spawn thing, because I don't want to harp on the person nonstop. Anyway, so what happened to that principle? I thought we were Team Indiegogo. I thought it was Comicsgate only or hit the bricks. The principle behind this line of reasoning is that Comicsgate is already outcast with zero mainstream support. In fact, the mainstream think we are literally Stalin. So if we don't support each other, we may as well give up, because 90% of the comics crowd is against us. If you start to dilute that support, Comicsgate is going to suffer. There's only so much money to go around, especially when you consider that due to all the fighting, Comicsgate has stopped growing. So if you invite people to support Kickstarter anti-Comicsgate, then our Comicsgate guys are going to lose money. And I want to support our Comicsgate guys. Our Comicsgate guys and people who identify as Comicsgate are taking a risk. They need to be rewarded for it. That's why, even though I criticize some people in Comicsgate, I never go too far with it or say anything that can be used against them by SJWs. I'm always careful because they are taking a risk jumping into Comicsgate. They deserve to profit. I want to see Cyberfrog make $2 million. Because you deserve it for making a good product, giving people what they want. That doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize people. I want to see everyone at Comicsgate make millions of dollars. Like I said, Bigfoot Bill, Cyberfrog, and a couple of the other comics, it should be multi-million-dollar projects. Anyway, Donald DeLay took a risk in coming over to Comicsgate. And really, John Malin, anyone who came over to Comicsgate and put their name out there, well, you're never going to be in the mainstream ever again after that. So Mike Miller, Doug TenNapel, everyone who has their name tainted, Ethan Van Sciver has their name tainted by CG, they deserve to be rewarded even if we don't like everything they do. I mean, they're not killing babies here. Anyway, I mean, if people would stop fighting, we could grow the audience and we would have a little bit more flexibility. But apparently, getting 50-year-olds to stop fighting is like herding cats. It's an experience I am wholly unfamiliar with. I have never seen adults act like petty, vindictive child tyrants for such a long period of time. I thought that I was a petty little bitch, but I have met my match and I have been beaten. People in comics are the most unprofessional babies I have ever come across. I look at the BS I am observing, and I'm waiting for someone to speak up and say, whoa, what the HE double hockey sticks have we become? We've turned into Mark Waid and Renfamous. Assholes. Total assholes. Anyway, enough about this. Oh, I wanted to say one last point was, what if a mainstream SGW guy wants to do a live stream to promote his book? How are we going to respond? It's something to think about. And really, obviously the biggest channel is EVS. So really he's going to set the ground rules for how... this is the one I want to talk about. He's going to set the ground rules for how comicsgate responds to that kind of thing. Something to think about. I see I'm out of time. So anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to send me email, biancazombie62@gmail.com, or hit up my P.O. box, but just let me know if you're going to send something so it's not sitting there. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next episode.